Spider-Man from YouTube.
I'm not.
You were on the ceiling.
I wasn't. Ned, what are you doing in my room?
May let me in. You said we're gonna finish the Death Star. She doesn't know.
Nobody knows. Well, I mean, Mr. Stark knows because he made my suit, but that's it.
Well, Tony Stark made you that. Are you an Avenger?
Yeah, basically. Dude, you can't tell anybody about this. You gotta keep it a secret.
A secret? Why?
Because you know what she's like. If she finds out people try and kill me every single night, she's not gonna let me do this anymore.
Okay. I'll level with you. I don't think I can keep this a secret. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
I can't believe this is happening right now. Hey, I gotta go.
Hey, where are you going? What are you hiding, Peter? I'm just kidding, I don't care. Bye.
Holy crap, everybody, new Spider-Man footage, let's break it down. Tom Holland also talked a little bit about what's going to happen with him and Iron Man after the movie before Infinity War. There is a new round of the Marvel giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video for Guardians tickets. So there are a couple big things that happened to this. Obviously, it's all about the comedy of his friend Ned Leeds learning about the costume. Gonna tell you it straight, dude. There's no way I'm going to be able to keep this secret. And then his friend Michelle just joking about why he always has to bail. Where are you going? What secrets are you keeping? Nope, just kidding. Do not care at all. I totally love the idea of having a love interest in a movie like this, where traditionally she'd be running around after Peter Parker, where she just absolutely does not care at all. Just does not give a crap. And you saw a little bit of it in the other trailers too, where she's just like, you guys are losers. But a couple really cool things about Spider-Man's bedroom here. So of course we know about the Death Star, so that means that Star Wars exists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now, which is just crazy to wrap your brain around. But obviously now that Disney owns Star Wars, it's a lot easier for them to do this in a big $150 million movie. But even if you've only read a little bit of Spider-Man comic books, you know that he's a big science nerd. He's part of the academic decathlon. You see a poster here back next to all these Star Wars toys. You have your X-Wing, you have your AT-AT. There's also an organic chemistry book here. Spider-Man is like the Avenger character that's most likely to say science bitch after he does a big villain takedown. Like if you're looking for Spider-Man comics to read, they actually have a new Comixology Unlimited thing where you can read, I think it's like the first 20 Spider-Man comics ever. There's actually a lot of issues where he'll have like a problem with the Vulture. He can't solve it until he makes some new technology or finds some scientific solution. Here's him in his Spider-Man costume breaking into the school lab to make some chemicals so that he can take down Dr. Octopus. But you also notice that Spider-Man is a huge Mets fan. There's a bunch of Mets fanfare all over the place. The Ned Leeds character is actually pretty interesting. In the comics, he's the one that becomes the Hobgoblin character after a while. He gets married to Liz Allen. They had a big thing in Brazil, like a big press conference, where the actress that plays Liz Allen went with Tom Holland, answered a bunch of questions. We don't really know how the movie universe is going to make use of those other secondary Spider-Man characters, because Ned Leeds is a pretty big comic book person. Hobgoblin hasn't been used in a while, but he's a pretty huge character, and they already have 2 Spider-Man Homecoming movies planned. So at least for like this next 5 or 6 years, there's not going to be any of that craziness happening. But they did make a Genki joke in the recent Spider-Man comic book, just because he looks a lot like the Genki from the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. There's going to be a lot of people talking about it when the movie comes out. But it is interesting how there's not a lot of Tony Stark in this trailer, just this repeated shot from the earlier trailer. But you may have spotted the stuff that they shot on the set of Infinity War for the charity that Robert Downey Jr. is running. He had this giant mocap suit on. It looked way more advanced than you've seen before. So there's a practical Spider-Man suit that he wears around on set. Then there's the mocap suit for when they do really hardcore CG versions of the suit. So a lot of people were wondering, does this mean that he's actually going to get a different suit? The Russos did say that the suit would be different, but I don't think it's going to look different. I think that this will always be his suit, but like they have a toy they released where it looks blue. It's called the Tech suit. I think when you look at it here, it's the exact same suit, it just colored blue. So because we learned about the Ultimate Iron Man suit, like the recolored version of his Civil War suit from the toys, it almost seems like Spider-Man's suit in the movie might have a stealth mode or something like that. But you guys can let me know what you think this blue suit does. The thing about the last trailer that we saw though, when Tony Stark was like, I'm taking the suit back, and then you see him in the Ben Reilly looking suit. I know a lot of you were asking about that. Wait a minute, is that supposed to be Ben Reilly? Because it does look a lot like his version of the costume, and they just brought him back in a big way in the Spider-Man comics. But even though I think we all agree that Spider-Man is probably going to live up to his hero name, Iron Man will give him the suit back. You earned it, kid. You're an Avenger now, or he'll be almost an Avenger, at least by the time Infinity War starts. But when a lot of people started asking Tom Holland about his relationship with Aunt May, they're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if he got together with Aunt May? Tom Holland was like, you know, I kind of thought the same thing too after Civil War when they were both together on screen. But then he stopped himself and said, but after this movie, after Spider-Man Homecoming, I'm thinking not so much. So it just sounds like Iron Man is going to ruin another one of his relationships. So he's taken Peter under his wing, but you know he was friends with Captain America, then they had all the drama of Winter Soldier, learning the secret behind his parents being killed, and it just drove them apart. So it sounds like there might be something during this movie to drive him and Iron Man apart too, and I think a lot of that has to do with the villain, Michael Keaton's Vulture. So when he's talking to Spider-Man in a lot of the other trailers, he talks about how Tony Stark, the rich guy, is taking advantage of working class people like him, like Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's just a blue-collar person in this universe. So even though he's crazy, he's the villain of the movie, Spider-Man has to take him down. It sounds like some of the things that he's going to reveal about Iron Man to Peter Parker are going to stick with him, and that'll drive a wedge between them. But I don't think it's going to be as serious as winding up on each other's shit list the way that Captain America is at the end of Civil War. But let me know in the comments, what do you think is going to happen with Spider-Man and Iron Man's relationship at the end of this movie? Because he is all about Iron Man at the beginning, and it just sounds like that's not going to be the case by the end of the film. Part of the jokes that they tell about Peter's character is that he's like that kid that just calls Iron Man way more than he should. Iron Man's an Avenger, he has all these problems around the world, and on top of it, he has all of his Stark Industries stuff that even though Pepper Potts is running, he's still the CEO of $1 billion corporation. So just imagine Peter Parker calling him up every 5 minutes, just asking him about new things that the suit does. Hey, what does this button do? What does this button do? If you want to read a really cool Spider-Man Gadgets book, it's Annual Number 4, the original Amazing Spider-Man Annual Number 4, where it lays out everything that his gadgets do. So obviously the Vulture's going to be the villain of this movie, but if you read those early Spider-Man comics, there is a progression. He works his way up to Dr. Octopus. He's the next big villain after the Vulture. Before him was Chameleon, so there's a number of any early Spider-Man villains that they could use for the next film. So let me know, after the Vulture, who do you want them to do? They said that they're not going to be recycling a lot of stuff, but that was mostly for this movie. I think once we get a couple years down the road, get a couple Spider-Man movies under our belt, they'll be a little more open to reusing the big classic characters, Sinister Six stuff. And you can't really do that without Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, Electro, a lot of the characters that you've already seen. But as far as we know, we have the Vulture, the Tinker, the Shocker, who's actually using cast-off Crossbones tech, because remember, they go and they clean up battle scenes after the Avengers destroy stuff, or after supervillains destroy stuff. So they get their hands on a whole bunch of really cool tech. That's how the flight suit gets made. So part of the fun of the film is going to be watching them put all this stuff together. But what's going to happen next is there's a new Wonder Woman trailer, so I'll post that too. And I think there's going to be some new Spider-Man footage dropping in another couple days too, so I'll do another Spider-Man Homecoming video as soon as it does. But congratulations to the latest giveaway winner, Kazuma Fury. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. So while you wait for that, you can click here for my Guardians post-credit scene, and you can click here for all the big comic book changes. Thank you so much for watching. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.